Hello, and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Recapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
All right, Delora, we are back, and Vice President Kamala Harris has picked a running mate as of the day we're talking. So it's a heavy news day.
Very, very. And we're coming off the heels of Fate in the Water, Juneteenth, Lift Every Chair and Swing, the Montgomery Brawl. 1 year. Can you imagine? 1 year ago.
And the Black folks rejoice for sure. Can't believe it's been a year.
Chairs for me. Like, apparently I need a t-shirt and or earrings just for the essence of it.
Yeah, I don't have any merch from the grand old time that happened, but I shouldn't say it like that, but y'all know what I mean. But yeah, it's hard to believe it's been a year. So I don't know what anyone officially is calling it, but if you decided to take the day off, if you just decided to live your best Black life, good for you.
Live life in the pursuit of happiness, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, so it is our Thursday episode, which means we will talk some headlines and some hot topics. First one up, I just wanted to highlight this just because we talked about it before and the latest update on this whole Justin Timberlake potential drunk driving DWI situation. He has now had his license suspended, and the judge even threatened a gag order for his lawyer. I guess the judge admonished the attorney for irresponsible comments, didn't specify exactly what those comments were. But for all the money that Justin's probably paying, I think I'd be a little pissed.
Girl. And, you know, it's just one of those things to, I don't know. I imagine cases like this should have just been already gone. Like, you know what I mean? I allude to that Bruno Mars cocaine situation in Vegas right before he got big. They swept that under the rug so quickly that we forget that he has charges. Like, this seems, I mean, we do not condone drinking and driving at all, or under the influence. I think that's what it's called now. But he was in the burbs too.
Sag Harbor, baby.
The system ain't working for him, Ashley. What's going on?
I feel like he just wanted to get a little bad boy going on his resume, on his repertoire, because I don't know why this is continuing on. Like I said, for all the money he's paying, I would be pissed if my lawyer is getting reprimanded over video call about something that, you know, for someone of Justin's caliber showing up on the little video chat, I'd be like, this is not like something I should be having to deal with. Where's Trump's lawyers, you know, because he seems to be to get out of everything and I can't even get out of a DWI. So,
listen, 37 charges, girl.
Yeah.
2 impeachments. And he's still running for president.
I say all that to say, we'll see what happens, I guess. There's the next appearances set for, what's today? Set for August 9th. So next week from the date that we're recording, and then another hearing in September. So we'll see what happens with this. I would be surprised if anything real comes out of this whole scenario, but I guess stranger things have happened. Let's move on to Kehlani. I've been a fan of Kehlani for years, musically. She just released her Tiny Desk. I've heard good things. I haven't watched it yet. But on the heels of this, I saw a headline that grabbed my attention that her alleged ex, because I don't know if they were ever actually in a relationship.
I thought they were partners who decided to procreate.
I thought so too. But at least the father of her daughter is claiming that she is in a cult and is filing for full custody. Javon Young White is his name. And he said in court documents, I'm reading a People article, that Kehlani is in a cult. He said that the daughter was born through a home birth orchestrated by the cult. And due to the fact that she was born at home and not in a conventional setting like a hospital, he is not on the birth certificate. And so he is requesting his name be added and that he receive her social security number and essentially wants full custody and the right to give her his last name because he believes that she is in danger. He believes that the cult leader has convinced Kehlani to do things that are not in her best interest, that she's left alone with strange people, and, you know, all sorts of other things, including him not being able to see her for periods of time. So, you know, we get into cults and cult documentaries.
We do.
So I can't put anything past anybody, but this definitely felt like it came out of the blue. So is this just a baby daddy that is aggrieved, or do you think there's any merit to his claims?
Honestly, it just sounds like he's looking for some custody and getting some parental rights. That's what it sounds like. But in addition to that, he doesn't like how his daughter is being raised. Again, hence the parental rights. And it's like he can't even fight for custody because he ain't even on a birth certificate. Now that's rough.
Yeah.
So when it comes to cults and even celebrity culture, wouldn't be surprising. I'll say that much. You remember, it was a couple of years ago. I think it was shortly after Daniel Kaluuya won his Oscar. They were trying to say that he was under some weird spiritual advisor who did some of the tenets of cult situations that we talk about all the time, with the isolation from like family and friends, and the person is always with them, with him at different events and things along those lines. So that kind of quieted down, especially during the promotion of Nope, but haven't heard anything about it since, really. And then we can't forget the sex cult, the dude putting his initials on women, them thinking it's some type of symbol. Oh,
I've watched one too many. Like I said, I've watched The Vow, I've watched Twin Flames, I've watched all of them.
Scientology.
Scientology. I mean, even the one dude, because I just watched 10 Things I Hate About You. The one dude who was like the pretty boy in the movie, who was a male model and stuff, he was accused of running a cult there for a little bit.
Really?
Yes. 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 So it's Hollywood. You never know. These people, if regular people get caught up in it, celebrities damn sure get caught up in it. The one that we just did the recap on, obviously was targeting people of influence within, you know, the entertainment community, dancers and influencers and folks like that. So we'll see. I guess if more comes out, I guess at the end of the day, I just hope that this child is okay.
And that's the bottom line, truly.
All right, Delora, let's move on to our last headline today, which is Big Sean. I had talked about me going to the Jhene Aiko concert and thinking that he might make an appearance, and he didn't. I wasn't sure if he was traveling with her and her family, X, Y, and Z. And I guess Big Sean decided to kind of respond to me specifically.
You put it out there.
Right. I say that, guys, just because it's like, I feel like because he wasn't showing up, people were asking me, oh, do you think they're still together? X, Y, Z. I was like, I don't know if they're together. They have a child. I don't know. And then he goes on this interview with Charlemagne. And basically Charlemagne's like, why have you not married this woman? And we see even a video from, I think it was her LA stop, where there's a line that Big Sean talks about a ring, and she looks down like, what ring? You know what I'm saying? Yep. And so he basically said, to your point, he said a bunch of nothing. But what I got from what he said was basically their relationship is not a relationship that he foresees for the rest of his life. Like, that's what I took from it. Because he's like, we got work to do. You'd have been with this woman now for like almost a decade. She's had your son. What do you think needs to happen for there to be a marriage? Because you pretty much are in a common law marriage if y'all are still together anyway. Right. And then Charlemagne was even kind of trying to tell him, he was like, you know, no relationship is going to be perfect. You know, it's always going to be work to do.
Yeah. It was giving word salad to me. It's just a whole lot of nothing. Meaning, if you don't want to be with her, just say it. Because at this rate, you could tell she was exhausted. Because again, in that video clip of him coming out at her concert, she looked at her finger like, "What ring?" And it's not like he hasn't proposed before. He was famously
Engaged to Naya
engaged.
Rivera.
Naya Rivera, but someone made an excellent point online that I concur with. It's like, yeah, he was engaged with her, but he also cheated on her with Ariana Grande. So it just sounds like he might just be a bad partner, which is like, sir, you're the common denominator.
Mm. I think from the comment section, I gathered that a lot of women were just like, why do men see children as less of a commitment than marriage? Like, why are you happy to have a baby with somebody that you may not want to be a partner with? You know what I mean?
Raising an entire family at this rate.
Because now we together forever, ever.
Truly. And it's not just 18 years.
Yeah, I'm in my 30s and me and my mama, we still ride hard. Okay.
I feel like these men tend to have like unrealistic expectations. I remember when Ray J was like, I can't wait till I find the right person. I'm not gonna cheat no more. And it's like you were basing this image of a woman. I don't know what elements of your culture or being, whatever influences you had growing up to give you this idea of a wife or what marriage is like, but it's like you are doing life with this person.
Yeah.
Why is it such a hard idea to, be all in?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, what is all in? Like, I think I would have had more respect for the thought process personally if he had been like, I don't foresee us getting married. I think we have a great, solid partnership, and we don't necessarily need to get married for it to be successful. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I would more respect the thought process than to say like, we just got work to do. I don't want to put our business out there, but she has this focus on her family. She has this focus on her career. So she basically needs to be less focused on anything but you for her to be wife material. Like, I was really trying to follow him to understand what he meant.
Yeah.
And I love Jhene. I love Jhene. And I'm just like, so what conversations have we had like between the two of us? Like, are you sitting around waiting for this man?
Exactly.
Because I always think of when Tracy Ellis Ross was like, I feel like I used to wait to be chosen. Right. And I had to like get past that. Like, I'm the chooser. I don't wait to be chosen.
Period. And it also sounds like he needs to also make up his mind too. Because that's also what it was giving. I'm like, you're just indecisive, or you just don't want to admit how you actually feel, like
to not waste this woman's time if she's not who, like, she's just a placeholder type person. You just feel bad because
you just so happen to have, she's the mother of your child. Like, again, whose fault is that? Because you could have done something.
He was like, our relationship is complicated because we're partners, but then we're business partners, but then we're parents. And I'm like, you know how many people I know who have businesses with their spouses and raise children with them?
He was saying absolutely nothing. Again, it's just like the Carters are notorious for being that. Like, I don't understand what you're
Barack
saying,
and Michelle. We could go down the list.
The list is long
of people who are business partners, parents, and lovers. What are we talking about? Pauletta and Denzel. How many? Will and Jada, not to put them as the shiny beacon, but yes, they made it work for a little bit. I just, like I said, I love Jhene. So my heart is with Jhene. Jhene, whatever you want, I want for you. I hope you're not waiting around for this man to marry you. If that is what's happening. Watch her
go somewhere else. He will be entirely in his feelings.
Well, because they broke up at one point, and I remember that's how we got like BS, and that's how we got None of Your Concern, and that's how we got Triggered, and that's how we got some songs that I love, and Pray for You. And like, if you're not, if you don't want to be with this woman, let her find someone who really wants to be with her, because Jhene is, I love Jhene. That's my girl. So don't play. Don't play
Yep.
Sean, because I've been a fan of Sean. Not only because he's adjacent to Jhene, but like I've enjoyed his music over the
Yeah.
years. Don't
I'm a
play about my
fan.
girl though.
I'm a fan too. He's from Detroit. Somebody I went to high school with was one of his earlier producers. I mean, I'm invested. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, I get it. But yeah, don't be playing in no woman's face. I'm always for women when it comes to situations like that. And I'm not a fan of the ultimatum, but sometimes, things need to happen. It's
Mm,
like shit or get off the pot.
mm. And Janae's been married before. She was married
Yes.
for like 3 years or so. And that did not seem like it was necessarily for the best. So I want the best for you, girl. All right. Anyway, let's move on to our hot topics of the day. Like I said, it's politic heavy right now. We had obviously VP Kamala Harris. Let me put full respect to her name. Vice President Kamala
Entirely.
Harris.
Yes.
We ain't friends. I don't know her. Let me put some respect on her
Not
name.
yet, but
Vice
yes.
President Kamala Harris has picked her running mate. It is Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. I had no idea who this white man was.
Harpo, who this man? Uh but when I tell you, once I started doing my research and who he is, knowing that he is a former teacher, a veteran, 6 terms in Congress, and a beloved governor, really big on dad content as governor. I started to like understand, like, oh yeah, this makes sense. He's from, middle America, small town America. I mean, he's part of the holy smokes crowd. You know what I mean? And you can
I
tell
think he
that
said in the rally today, "Holy hell!"
he's for the G Golly vote for sure. Because I mean, she is, what the right has demonized as a San Francisco liberal. Like, you know what I mean?
She's
And
one of
it's
those
like,
crazy progressives.
exactly. And so he's there to tie it all together. He's essentially Joe Biden, just like what, 20 years younger.
Is he
Uh,
20 years younger?
he is 60. Apparently, he's younger than Brad Pitt. I saw that recently. Yep.
Holy cow.
Somebody was like Hollywood 60 and like,
Minnesota 60.
But you know what? I don't know if you saw, but the rally to introduce him in Philadelphia,
Yeah, that's when he said holy hell. I watched it earlier.
he said 2 things that were notable to me because I was cackling, Ashley. The first one, he was talking about Donald Trump being a felon. And he was like, and that's not even all the crimes he committed as president. And then when he made that JD Vance joke about getting off the couch, it took me all the way out because for me, the high road is decimated at this point. Love you, Michelle. Love you. But we got 90 days, okay, until the election. This is unprecedented. But at the end of the Black ass day, I think we talked about this in our last podcast that we talked about Kamala being chosen or endorsed by Biden. I was very concerned because I was very much, I'm going to stick beside him. He could have been in bed with an IV in his arm, and I would have been like, this is my duty as a citizen
Hand in a jar
of these United States of America. And this is just how this happened. The dread that I originally had of just even the conversations of him potentially dropping out. And so the fact that all of this has happened in the last 2 weeks, and the momentum and the excitement, and more importantly, the joy associated with this, I am shocked. I am gagged. Like, excuse me, okay? And I'm here for it. Like, he comes off as a really good person, and them together, I can't wait until see them like cackling at stuff together. You know what I mean? Like, and then the slogans, Ashley, it's like when we fight, we win. I'm like, yes, that is strong. And then my favorite, we not going back. Do y'all remember the COVID response, y'all? Millions of citizens have died. We're not going back.
Yeah. Points were definitely made. And I have to say, I'm going to have to give Tim a real shot. I heard the stats. I understand the optics. I understand the background. But I really wanted it to be Pete Buttigieg.
Girl, that he was on my
I really
once
did.
upon a time rainbow wish list. Like there was no way on this green earth.
I know, but Pete is
that
so
Kamala
good.
was going to go that route.
I know,
that
but
would
Pete
have
is
been
so
too much
good.
of a risk. Now,
I understand.
Pete is a superstar. He's a superstar.
Yeah.
Like the way he can combat, like he's literally the Democratic bulldog. Like let him off the leash, people will be decimated. But it wasn't going to happen. And Shapiro was also a favorite. He definitely gives me Obama vibes in terms of how he speaks. Shout out to him being able to have coherent sentences.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Pete was a dream, but sometimes dreams come true. Look at Kamala.
They do. We got Kamala.
I'm sorry. Look at Vice President Harris. Okay.
Period.
I'm excited. I was, like I said, I was very leery and worried, and there's still some of that, but I will say that because I've seen such support, I've seen such a mood shift in terms of how people as a whole seems like they're feeling, and some excitement coming back into the voting process because of this change. It has definitely lifted my spirits, and I'm very thankful for that. And so I'm excited.
2008, and I'm
excited as leading into this election. Like I said, I'm still planning on getting involved. I'm not forgotten. I am literally still just bringing my head back up out of water from my move, but don't y'all worry. I'm on it. All right. So let's move on to, I guess, Trump. I really don't want to talk about this long. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the NABJ inviting him to the conference. Were you for or against this journalistic decision?
I am only against it based off how they treated Vice President Harris' campaign. So there was like some issues in terms of her schedule and her ability to show up in person. Her campaign offered a virtual conversation for like an hour or something like that, and they declined, but they welcomed this man into a sacred space just for him to berate everyone for an hour. And that's where I have a problem with. You know what I mean? It's like if there was a level of balance in terms of presidential candidates, if you want to take that route, that's one thing. I do feel like the questions that were asked were important questions and really great questions, but did we really think he was going to answer any of them?
He's too toxic and too much of a horrible potential figure for me to ever feel like they should have invited him to this. Like having studied journalism and gotten a degree in it and all these things, understand journalistic integrity, understand the desire to, give time to important issues. But Trump is Trump, and Trump is going to Trump. So what the fuck did y'all expect when y'all invited him to this? It made me happy that I had not ever joined NABJ because I've considered it over the years. And
wow.
Well, I'm serious. I'm not going to give my money to an organization that is going to invite someone like him without there being an absolute legal necessity, right? Like certain broadcast standards, you have to provide equal time for, candidates for races, things like that. I've talked about my experience having to do that as a producer before. Y'all didn't have to do that. Y'all didn't have to invite this man to this convention. I would not have even gone because I'm not going to sit up here and even entertain this nonsense, this circus, I don't want to hear him speak, let alone sit in a convention and listen to him.
Black Like the way he says black just makes me. I'm about to quote Kindred in a minute. Okay, I don't like the way that you speak. I don't like the way you act.
Yeah,
No,
that's facts.
I completely agree, and I just think I posted a Toni Morrison quote after that particular event, where the whole conversation was about Vice President Kamala Harris's race. And she told us she's a Black woman, right? And the Toni Morrison quote essentially says, when it comes to conversations about race, it is a distraction. They will tell you that you have no culture and you would dig up for years trying to prove that you have it, that you have no language. And she's like, it's all a distraction because there's going to always be one more question. So, just focus on the work. And that's what I feel like has been MAGA's only defense is like, is she Black? Is she Indian? She's both. But if you want to go off of how she was raised, and how she was raised is very similar to, bringing it back to pop culture references, is Halle Berry. Her mom raised her to be a Black woman because she knew her child would be received as a Black child, like, you know what I mean, in that world. And therefore she raised her, in the culture and understanding of Blackness. And obviously we've embraced her because she's embraced her identity in that way. Same with President Barack Obama. Like, he had to learn the culture. And obviously that worked out for him. But you understand what I'm trying to say. It's just, it was a waste of time because at this rate, I don't know what was the point of it. Was it
I don't
worth
know
it?
if they know what the point of it was at the end of the day. I should backtrack a little bit and say, obviously, this is a select group of people who made this decision. It's not the entire organization. But I would have been, if I were a member, I would have been embarrassed by this decision because I don't think it was the right one. And I hope that they would not condone this type of person coming again. I mean, I do think Trump is such a dangerous figure, and has the potential to cause even more harm than he already has. And I don't know how you take that lightly. Like, as Black people, I just think there has to be lines. And I think he has beyond crossed many, many, many lines
Yep.
that will make it acceptable for him to sit in the same vicinity as me, let alone me asking him questions and dignifying his existence. So that's that on that. Our final hot topic is the Olympics, because obviously we're still in the Olympics coverage. It ends on the 11th, per my Google home, because I asked her yesterday. What have you caught? What's been exciting this past week? Because I watched quite a bit over the weekend. Like, I was up out my seat jumping up and down on one particular event, which was the swimming relay, where it was 2 men and 2 women, and
The
USA
mix,
barely pulled that out
girl,
from
like when
China.
I tell you, I didn't know there were relays. It's same for track and field. I was like, man, they have events with, mixed gender, what have you. Let me just start by saying this Olympics really proves that we probably should have just skipped over Tokyo. Like, Tokyo, I mean, obviously it was a different landscape. We were in the middle of a freaking global pandemic. But when I tell you that I don't remember being this hype over sports like ever, or in a very long time. I can't tell you which one is which. And I think it's also because they are in Paris, France. Studied a lot of that in high school, so I just feel like there's just a lot of like cool things that are going on in the city surrounding all the events. But girl, gymnastics. Team USA, we got gold. And then, the medal count for the great Simone Biles. And we cannot forget the final individual floor competition, where we got our very first all Black podium. It just, when I tell you, happy tears. And of course, the conversation around Jordan Childs winning bronze. And it's like, the judges shouldn't have undervalued her difficulty score. Like, does this suck for Romania? Absolutely. But I think it's a wonderful conversation when it comes to Black women and advocating for yourself, right? Her coaches were like, I think these scores need to be reviewed. So an inquiry was put in place and things were adjusted and she won bronze. So I was all in my feelings. I was crying for sure because like her joy was like, what? Because to go from fifth to third being on that podium just means so much. And of course, this conspiracy theorists are like, oh my goodness, they did this so they could have the I hate people. They're not going to steal my joy. Anyway, Rebecca Andres has been a joy to watch. And I love how Simone was like, I haven't had competition in a minute. And I'm like, if that's not a flex, I don't know what is. We talked about her competing against herself with her latest documentary that we recently recapped. So I cannot wait for the images and the behind the scenes of all the things that has happened. And I'm so proud of Simone. She's has this gorgeous smile after winning all of her medals, and just knowing what she's been able to overcome to me is just truly inspirational. And then the level of sportsmanship that they gave Rebecca in that final event just speaks volumes, especially in terms of like Black womanhood across the diaspora. You know what I mean? I think that was just phenomenal.
I also want to give a big shout out to Noah Lyles for that 100-meter race. That was amazing. Like I have not even caught a lot of track live, and I caught that meet live. And me and my brother was like, did you see that? And he called me. He was like, I thought he won until they were saying Jamaica won. And then I said, no, same thing. I thought he had it too. And then it was such a photo finish, seeing his reaction, seeing his mom and family's reaction, like the fact USA hasn't won it in 20 years. It was thrilling.
It truly was. We watched it live, and girl, I've been watching all the replays online trying to understand. Like, I didn't know the rule was it's the torso, not the foot.
Yep.
And in addition to that, I think it's kind of funny how much shit talking he's been giving when he won by, what is it?
Barely. A hair on his chinny chin
chin. Of a
Yep. By a hair on his chinny chin chin. Basically, that's what it came down to. I mean, him and Jamaica were like neck and neck. It was so
Caribbean
close.
keeps us on our toes. And then, of course, the Sha'Carri race. I mean, shout out to St. Lucia winning their very first Olympic medal. Like, what? And it's gold. I did miss that we didn't have Jamaica compete. And then there's controversies with that about like them not being able to properly warm up and things like that because of the gate change. I don't know. There's been other things going on in freaking Paris during these Olympics that people leave much to be desired. I guess I'll say that. And then, going back to the gymnastics, that beam final, the fact that I think it was like out of 8 competitors, only 2 didn't fall off. I'm like, something's wrong with the beam. You cannot tell me
that both Simone and Suni fail, and it's all good. Speaking of Suni, her uneven bars show was so beautiful. I got to catch that. She won bronze. She did a phenomenal job on uneven bars.
Suni. Yeah, and then yesterday I watched the pole vaulting. France was already out, y'all. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the American young man. Well, I don't know if he's American or not, but he represented Swiss, but he grew up in Louisiana and went to LSU, making the world record. That was quite fascinating.
Oh, yeah. I definitely thought you were talking about Mr. Manhood.
First of all, his knees hit the pole. And by the time it hit his manhood, it was already over. But I started following him. No,
What did Van say earlier when I was listening to Higher Learning? He said he called women who were following this uh dick lust or something he said along those lines. It's like it's
He's a
fine.
hater.
He said it's
Sounds like a
fine.
hater.
No, he said it's totally fine. He said just be honest. Y'all got the dick lust. Just be honest. But yeah, that
But
was a funny little, blip in everything. But I was very excited that I actually got to catch a lot of things live over the weekend because I had not. I had kind of been catching things here and there as I could, catching some highlights where I could. So to actually sit and watch some gymnastics, to watch some swimming, to watch some track, it was thrilling. This is really the only time I have a sense of like, spirit for Team USA in this way. So yeah, I have to say that I feel like this Olympics has been particularly exciting to watch. So
and one more thing, two more things. I don't actually follow the man, but I did go to his Instagram because I was just curious. What is the deal with these outfits? Because he's not the only one. There are some swimmers that are like divers in all the speedos, and some of those men I feel sorry for because I'm like, yo, all of your business is out here for the streets to see. And I was talking to my husband about that, but I was like, I guess they do have to be kind of skimpy though, right? Because back in the day, the Greeks used to just be butt ass naked, right?
well,
So
when you think about the outfits in general, I was saying this, who decided on in gymnastics, you just wear a leotard? Who decided in track, you either wear like essentially a leotard or maybe
yeah,
just slightly a little bit more, like is it aerodynamically
right.
necessary? Like why are we in
Well,
barely their outfits?
when it comes to swimming too, men shave
Shave
their
their whole
hair.
bodies.
Yeah, their
I'm
entire
aware.
body. So
And that I
yeah,
get it because you need as little friction as you possibly can in the water. But the
but
outfit choices for all the like help me understand why to run track, I gotta be almost butt naked.
to that point, Ashley, why is it that our track stars, the 100 meters, the 200 meters, etc., got all the hair and the nails and the jewelry though? Like, does that just not hold us back? I don't.
They said we gotta accessorize because we black.
But for me, sis had like twin braids, two braid ponytails, long, I mean, down to the butt. And I'm like, you can't tell me they ain't heavy. Like, I don't understand.
Yes. As someone who has worn many a weave, yes, it does get heavy. Braids, locks, faux locks, all that shit is heavy. So yeah, I would imagine so, but hey, y'all be looking good though, so do your thing.
And they be fast.
And they be fast. All right, Delora, anything else before we discuss what's on the agenda for Tuesday?
Shout out to fencing. Okay, we got our first Black person to win both silver and gold. I don't have her name in front of me, but I think that's freaking amazing.
Silver
I
and
just
gold,
literally, I was thinking that when I said
silver and
that.
gold. I'd rather have Jesus. All right.
Oh my goodness. Okay, breaking news. So I'm looking on Twitter, and Kehlani's baby daddy apparently made a statement saying, I never said I think Santorina is a sex cult, nor did I say that my daughter was in a sex cult. That's factually incorrect. And I think it's disgusting that TMZ would exploit a child's image like that. And it goes on and on and on. So I
I
think
don't
he's
think
pissed off
anyone
at
said
TMZ.
sex cult that on what I read. So if they've started
I
saying
didn't
sex cults,
either.
yeah,
I
I didn't
didn't
read sex
either.
cult. I just read cult, which can mean a lot of things in terms of behavior.
True. True that. True that. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. What's on the agenda for Tuesday?
We're doing it, folks. We're recapping Bridgerton season 3, part 2. See you
We're
there.
back to the tone. All right, guys. Thank you for sticking with us for yet another episode. We are oh so close to 300 episodes. So that's major. That's a major
Kind of.
accomplishment.
Yeah, I'd
It's
say so.
crazy.
It's
So
kind of insane.
yeah, thank you for from our day ones to our just getting started with us, folks. We appreciate all of you guys for coming back, for sharing this episode out, for leaving us a rating or a review. Please join us again on Tuesday for our second part of Bridgerton Season 3. We look forward to seeing you then. But in the meantime, as always, be blessed.
Bye.